hop in and allow people to join as they may show up late. Here we go. And so today what I want to talk to you guys about is the client portals that are available in SAM. My name is Stephanie Zasakina, for those of you who don't know me. And Jess Daniels is also on the phone. She's working with me to support client experience. So I may ask her questions or certain things, but know that she's on as well. And you'll hear from her in the future too, through email and other ways. Let's see. So shucks, can't move right on forward from here. Yes, but let me double check. Yes, we are recording. Thank you for that reminder. That's super helpful. So today our agenda is, again, we're talking about client portals. So we're going to talk about why and the benefits of implementing these client portals. We'll take a tour of Sam's master site, that client portal. I'm just going to kind of show you around because this is really the first in probably a series of webinars. Everybody's sort of implementing these all at the same time. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. So I'll show you what Sam's got. And then I'm going to show from a couple of client sites some of their family portals or client portals that they've got set up, because they vary a lot actually from what we have in our master site. And so it's just to give you some different ideas of what people are doing. And then I'm going to show you, make sure that you're acquainted with our resources that are available for rewatching this webinar or past webinars about Family Portal, or the guides and things like that that are accessible to you all the time so that you can learn more about the system for your team. So let's talk about why we would actually set up portals. Basic things are going to be like centralization. So this is not only centralization for your team, but also in coordination with your families or clients. So this may be a connection for, let's say, primarily families that you interact with will use the client portal. However, you can set up portals for birth families, people who are accessing direct services. You might have a portal set up for your volunteers. You could have something set up for your donors. It's sort of open-ended. That's one of the neat things about SAM. I will be totally honest that the more customization there is, the more decisions you have to make and the more setup that needs to be done. So there's pros and cons to everything, but it's super cool that you can have all kinds of portals set up for people that you interact with. So it's going to be this space for you to coordinate that. You're going to find lots of time, because what I hear agencies complain about is, I have to resend documents to families. I have to, I'm going through explaining several zip files that I'm sending out to families, messing around in your email to find documentation that families send, and then sending it, going into your files, not having the latest update of a document that needs to be presented to a family. All of that can be consolidated into this single spot. So your focus becomes on how to best organize that information rather than how to best find that information. So I think that you will have just so much time on your hands, at least for a lot of your team, though you will need somebody to sort of man these projects and to be the point person for sure on them. Better communications. I think a lot of agencies are providing external resources to your website or other web pages that are important for DCFS or Health and Human Services, government sites, to get that information at families' fingertips. You can also put into the portal a lot of communications and messaging that welcome the family, explain the process, and explain the process sort of in time to the families also. And I like checklist for that, but you can use all kinds of forms. And again, it's sort of up to you how you want to display the information, but anything that's collected in SAM can be presented except for documents that the family uploads to you. They can upload documents. You can give them the document that they need to download, but once they've uploaded a signed document, they actually can't retrieve it because they don't have access again. And I'll talk a little bit about that when we get there, how that functions. And then in my opinion, you're sort of like able to think about planning and how to improve your programs rather than sort of, again, that fiddling for. I have no better word for that, but it just is sort of that movement around of going to different drives to collect the information that needs to be presented to families and going through email. You know, it's just the constant administrative tasks that I think you don't have to do. So I've got that up because I wanted to see. Let me check our participants list. And I think I'm going to leave it at that now. Let's see. Let me check my chat. Got it. And okay, cool. Thanks you guys for letting me know everything that's going on. Okay, so what's shared in the family portal is basically it's a single location for you to be able to share checklists and other forms that you want this client to enter into your system. So it eliminates your team's need to do data entry for at least, let's say, like 80-90% of clients that you have these portals enabled for. There's always going to be the odd family or two that just isn't tech savvy or doesn't have access, but they would still make an excellent foster parent or adoptive parent, but that's just not their skill set, that you might want to have a PDF download, and you've got the ability to maintain that original process while incorporating a brand new process that allows more technology to for that coordination between the two. Agencies are definitely sharing documents. Documents, I would say, are generally shared on SAM's checklist. So I'll walk you through how that works. Placements, be it foster placements or adoptions, being able to show the family, here are your active placements, here are discharge placements, here are your adoptions. Some of the agencies have post-adoption reports connected so that the family, when it is a self-report, they can go and complete those reports online. They could absolutely share medical records or other documentation that they need that just needs to be coordinated between your team and them without going through email. So giving them an option to upload that directly into your SAM, again, is going to save your team that data administration time of doing that. Like I said, external resources to government websites or other resources for them to sign up for Medicaid or Medicare. Any kinds of things that are going to be fruitful for them to know, if there are grants that they can sign up for, or again, any other community resources where you might even share your partnering organizations, like their information and their web pages online so agencies can get more information. We'll kind of open that question up potentially to folks and maybe talk about it next week on the community call of like what other ideas people are using the portals for. Let me finish that statement. And then important messages, like we've got on our portal, the communications, sort of a subset of communications is what do I want to, as a team member, want to share with this family. So very specific ones, and then allowing the family to communicate back with us. So let's jump in to SAM's portal. So this is SAM's master site. The family portal really is just a public form that's set up as a view form. So there's nothing really special about it. What I, working with another client earlier this morning, noticed is that we've got it set up by default in the adoptive family, but it is not set up necessarily for foster families, or it is certainly not set up for volunteers or birth parents or children or whoever else you might want to create a portal for. So if you decide to create a portal, it is literally creating a form that's set as a public form, and it is a view form. That's it. You label it and name it whatever you want. What we have is sort of an image and message to welcome the end user into this portal. So this should sort of set up how they're going to use this and what information is going to be shared here. I'm going to go ahead and click over into this first case because it has more information. We are displaying information like who is this, what is their program, who's their placing agency, and then we do show the case navigation. This form should be set up based on the case if it is an entity type that has a case, so that the record can or the end user can toggle between which case should they come back. Should they come back for a different program or be interacting with different programs. We are displaying the social worker that's working on this case, their information. We've got just their image, which is a field that can be pulled onto this template to be displayed. There are some limitations. We've tried before to show social worker and like maybe the social worker supervisor, and Sam sort of is only allows one or the other. So we made a choice to show this person because this is who they're going to interact with. It might be that you want to show, the case coordinator, whoever it is that's going to be the main contact for that client. I did talk about communications. We've got a subform about the communications, showing family communications. We've got this filtered to specific types so that the family isn't privy to every case note that's entered on their client record, but they are privy to those which we want to show to them. And so this would be a spot where you could display for them the most, the information, again, that you want them to know about. That could initiate emails to them so that they know to go in and log in here. And then we've added an ad form so they can actually communicate with us as well. If they want to say, all my documents are done. Everything is uploaded. Okay. This is set up to enter that note right here. They can see what they've written to us. And then it's also in their client record. Okay. I've got a sidebar enabled, and I think that that's probably an important thing that you want here because it allows you to sort of open up for additional links that the client can click on and take action with. So we'll talk about the checklist first. This is the checklist in SAM that you see on a record. I'm going to say this. On a record on the sidebar where it's like case checklist. If you're on a family record or a child record or any type of record, there's at the top right, it says case checklist, I think is what it generally says. It might say child checklist or checklist, but it is up there. And this is basically your workflow, but these are the specific checklist items that we want to show to the client. So it's not everything because you'll obviously have some tasks that are internal to your team, but this is what is going to be shown to the client. This can be a combination of forms and documents. So in SAM, we define those two terms separately. A form is another public form that the end user can complete. So in this example, this is actually the application form, and I want the family to actually enter their cell phone for me because I, as a team member, don't really want to enter that data. I want the family to take control of their record and enter that in. And so These forms can be set up for, again, any type of data entry that you need to collect. There are all kinds of nuances depending on what you're wanting to collect from the family. So we can sort of talk through that, and we will talk through that in subsequent webinars, and I'll talk to you about kind of what we're thinking is an ongoing call to help you guys in setting these things up. But again, this is like data entry that the family can absolutely take care of for you. It'll help with data integrity. They're probably going to spell their name correctly versus your team, copying from a PDF, especially like a handwritten form. And then it also saves your team tons of time because you're not having to do this data entry for them. You don't need to have the additional labor staff that's just a data entry person to enter this data. So you can have all kinds of forms on and linked to the checklist. Okay, so it's an option. The other thing would be for families to actually download documents, different term from forms. Even though those words are interchangeably in English, we sort of define them separately in SAM. Documents are going to be are going to allow the family to download a specific agreement. In this case, it's a social media agreement that we can allow them to download. They can go and sign. Really, there's no signature integration software that we have right now, but you could set that up if you guys are using something else, some other tool, or Adobe's free signature is easy as well. This is going to depend on what your legal team deems is appropriate, and that's going to probably vary per form. So some agencies have used signatures as a text box. In SAM, and you're creating different signatures per form that you want them to sign on. Some agencies are going to use these documents and do it sort of like, in air quotes, the old-fashioned way, which may be an update to kind of what's going on today for your team. This particular document's already been uploaded. Let me see. Here is an example where this document has yet to be uploaded. So all of the upload sections will look like this little blue open folder for me to go and upload when I have that document ready. Let's see. All kinds of documents can be added to the checklist. The one thing that I think is sort of challenging for folks is deciding what database table that you're going to actually put that field and document upload field onto. There are lots of webinars that we've done on checklists. We'll continue to do them too, but I think it's a thought. Generally, SAM is going to default you to the case because it is a service. Sometimes the case has additional processes that repeat, or you need to collect, either the process repeats, like the home study, where you can have an original home study and then do updated home studies annually until a certain point in time, or you do that exact same process per adoption or per placement, or you need that process to happen for every person in the home over 13, like for background checks, or the collection of identification documents like the driver's license and things like that. Like you need a birth certificate, driver's license, social security card for every person that lives in the home, something like that. Okay. So in those type of situations, you won't choose the case table as where you build that checklist. You will actually choose the specific table being like the home study or the background checks or the person in home. There's certainly some complexity to getting that all automated, but that I hope to walk through you with as a group a little more often. Let's see. Trying to think if I want to tell you anything else about this. Messaging can come in here. You can set up messaging for each of these sections, not only as the title of this checklist section heading, but you can have messaging up underneath here. Let me see if I have right here. And you could make this prettier by adding images and all kinds of things where you've got a list of templates that are sort of connected to these checklist sections. At this point, the formatting or styling of your public form is going to be all about you. It is really like specific to what do you think looks good. We are happy to help you work through that. Other things, let me check my time. This is a big topic. So there's so much to say, so much to show. Other things people are showing though would be like home study records, the placement records, and maybe even just allowing a form for the family to upload. So this is sort of all of the different home studies. This would be like their original home study versus all the other updates that we've done, and putting in the dates. So maybe that's just something that we want to show the family. We might show them their education and training. Depending on how you have that set up, having a subset being like the current year's training requirements being shown, and then allowing families to upload, or tell you like, I did this specific training. Then your team sets the amount of hours for that sort of training. That's all dependent on, again, sort of your rules and what you want. I'll show you this just so we can see kind of what's going on here. This add form. And then what I want to show you is how other folks are, some other examples, right? So we're kind of like asking some questions, giving the family some information on what we want them to do, and then giving them very specific forms, or rather fields for them to enter. So it is like, this is the training that I took it on such a date, and here's my notes about this. And then if I have a certificate, I could actually upload that. Then somebody on the team, this is the case coordinator, whoever is responsible for handling this part, could get an email notification to go in and manage the record and say, oh, they got 4 hours. However your team is going to do that, you want to sort of think through that process and decide, even though the parent education record has lots of other fields that your team has access to, narrowing it down to what very specifically you want that family to enter is going to be helpful for these client portals. And I'll press save. Yay. Okay, cool. So this is taking me out to, this is sort of an example of, I've got linked the information for Minnesota's Department of Human Services, right? So we have the ability to sort of share information with families. What did we learn as a limitation? SAM isn't linking off to PDFs very well through these sidebar links. It can take them to external websites, but not PDFs. PDFs, though, could be linked into templates that can be shared up in these sections. So you could also host a web page that takes your family to a bunch of PDFs. The other thing that we did the other day for a client was create another view form that includes a template onto it. Okay, because we're going to use multiple tools in SAM. So a public form that is set as a view that has a template on it, and that template can host the PDFs. So you can sort of like almost like make web pages in SAM. So it won't be exactly like through your website. It'll be through SAM, but it creates a what appears to be a web page that can host links and PDF links. Let's see. Okay, next thing that I want to do is show you some other client portals that other agencies are doing. So here I've got Amara. They're out of Washington, foster and adoption agency. These guys on their client portal are really pretty narrowed in what they're sharing right now, which is totally fine. Here's the placement record that they've got for this client. They are connecting to checklists. And then they've actually got a spot for families to upload documents that are shared between the family and the child. I believe this document is, if I upload documents over here, so they want the family to click here. And if we add a placement document like some kind of medical record or school information, anything that we wanted to share, this document is going to be available under both the family and the child because it's using a specific table that's set up for these type of documents. So not every document, but these types specifically. When I click on the add form, again, I just want to show you sort of what agencies are doing for add forms, dates, what type of document are we giving? If not, I can make a note, and then the family will actually upload. And this, of course, is coming from that family's local drive. Let's see. Thinking I'm going to go ahead and leave there. Go back to this main form. Go back to the client portal, and we'll check out their checklist. I think that I want to play with their formatting a little bit, make it look a little prettier and more what their site looks like. But here's sort of the example of all of these different documents that they want to get that are that have expiration dates on them. Get those uploaded for the family. Here's their list of home study documents for an original home study. Again, they'll be able to download that autobiography and then upload it. In situations like this, I didn't even notice. This is a dual parent home. Potentially this just isn't set up right or wasn't set up right at the moment, unless they just decided to have the same autobiography only downloadable once. But when I click here, I'm actually, this actually took me into a Word doc, so I can download that document. Okay. Let me show you another example. This is Nightlight's family portal. They've got, again, kind of basic information of what's going on with the case, who the adoption advisor is, rather than the social worker. They're connecting over here to the checklist, and then post-adoption reports. And so this is what I sort of want to show you specifically here. Here's kind of all the adoptions that this family has when they, the child arrived home date is what triggered these post-adoptions to show up. And even though this is a domestic case, I wanted to show you guys specifically the post-adoption report. So I set these PAR types as self-reports. The family can complete that here. And you know what? I'm thinking, and I'm going to go back and show you guys something. They've got this adoption record has then got all of the reports that are due where there's going to be a home visit. So these are subforms based on post-adoption reports, and they are filtered. So the top one is all where the PAR type is like not entered. Here are the self-reports that the family needs to do. And what you can see that differs in these two, it's based off, both forms are based off the same table, but this one we're sharing the details link and the edit link, which are going to be really familiar to how your team utilizes SAM and the functions that are shown to you there. But here they could actually go and they've got it where they can fill out this information. So I'm going to write some test information into each of these. So we've got these questions. They're all required. And this form is broken up into, I think it's actually like 10 steps, something like that, but very specific sections. So we're looking at the health information now and entering that. So all of this information is no longer needed, again, by your team to be doing that data entry or coming in through a PDF or an email, right? It's actually going directly into SAM. These fields can all be pulled onto a template, so they're made easy for print. Lots of little setup things that have to be done to get it coordinated in full. But once it's done, it should be clicks of a button for all of your team members. Okay. if you don't know about this already, I like this particular form because it's got a mixture of dates and text boxes and large text boxes and yes, no's. So knowing that you've got different options for the type of fields that are displayed for the system. All right, so I'm going to go back over here. Because while I said that you can't download PDFs or you can't link PDFs, I'm pretty sure when I looked at this is a PDF, right? That's a PDF document. So Sam is actually, I'm going to check in with Nightlight, or if Nightlight's online on the webinar and wants to message me in chat. Yep. Of how did you guys get that? Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's a PDF on their website. So yeah. So sort of what I said is like, Sam, if you just create a PDF link, it's not linking directly there. It is up on their website is where that is. Okay. And so North Homes is saying the same thing, that they're hosting these PDFs on their website. So you can do that. And I will show you in another video how you can do it out of SAM as well. Okay. So we'll do that in a future talk. Let's see. One thing that this is a connection off to, I think their website, where it's got information about post-adoption. Okay. That they can get information for, which I love that, really providing information to clients. And then here, if the family updates their information, it's nice to maybe like all case coordinators every 6 months or whatever, like send an email like, hey, just make sure that your information's all updated, and you can take families direct to this page or to the family portal to go in and update their information. So again, you're not having to do that information. You're not having to do that as updates to a bunch of emails or over the phone. A lot of time can be saved by doing this. And I think that's, whoops, sorry, I'm going to press the back button real quick. Go right back to this. This is a great layout, in my opinion, for this information. One thing I might say right now is families are accessing this on mobile. The one thing that'll be a little bit of an issue for this is there will basically be a need for the family to scroll. So layering things in a single column will probably be more appropriate for mobile layouts right now, if a family is accessing. Like, it looks great on laptop or computer, but on a mobile, I think it's going to be a little challenging. Let's see. Cool. The last one, I'm going to show Super Steve's family portal also, because they've got things set up just a little different. It took me a lot of convincing to get Steve to utilize the checklist, but once he did, he utilized it in a way that I'd not seen before. So, which I think is great. One of the things that I showed you just a minute ago about post-adoption reports for Nightlight is that they have many public forms kind of taking you from part 1 to 10, right? Kept kind of scrolling through. And I went through 3 parts, I think. Steve's got that. Oh, which one? Let me poke and see. Yeah. Okay. Orientation. And then in this autobiography. The autobiography is such a long form that he actually used the checklist to divide it up into the different sections that are important for them to complete. And so the family can go and enter this form all about their childhood for parent 1 here. I always love your answers here, right? But anyways, we can you can get in here and enter the information. And then when the family, I think the way he's got this set up, let's see, I'll write a test. And then if I click here, which I guess that was a great show, is that Sam, if we require things, Sam will enforce that needs to be entered. So it's going to enforce data integrity for your families as well. And okay, so the way that Steve's got this set up today is not to go from part 1 to part 2 to part 3, but rather it's constantly taking you back here, and the family can see what was completed. Um, cool. So I like this about how Steve's got that set up. I think, there I was looking for, it was like, Steve, we might want to do a back to the orientation page, which of course he's got in here as a link. Just taking it back to orientation. There's reading links. Let's see where this takes us off to. I think this is all going to be information, and this may be where he was. So are these, maybe Steve can tell me, these are the things that they need to read, and then when they've read it, they are going in here and reviewing this. And not sure how that gets entered here, but this is saying that it was done. And I bet what happens is you go in here, read this, and then it's done. Nope. So not exactly sure how the family enters that information or these dates get entered, but maybe this information here that I don't want to read. Please read the orientation checklist on the homepage. Got it. Okay, so it's actually connecting back. One of the things that I think Steve's done really great is adding a lot of messaging, which I always really try to get agencies to do, is make sure that there's information here for the family so that it just helps them remember. It helps your team be able to refer to what are the rules, and potentially will limit some of the calls of how do I do this. Let's see. Another thing that I think is great that Steve's done is really, he's added images that I think were all built from Canva, which is a free tool, can create pictures really quick, but it made it really personalized. Their webpage looks very different. Their client portal rather looks very different than what originated from the master. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's what I want to show you for there. Let me jump back up here. The last thing that I want to talk about really is some of the resources that are available for you. So at the top of SAM, especially once your agency gets their next release, you're going to see these 3 links. So the call is the new release, will be updated in the upcoming release, which you'll get an email about when we're ready to update your site. But this call button will allow you to schedule a call with our team. Okay. There is a help link that's available, and that's where we can, which I'll take you to here. And then there's support. So if you want to email our team and ask a question, please feel free to do so. Most support requests are included for free, and we're going to send you really direct you off to the guide that you need to, or give you our opinion on what way that we think that you should set up or what you need to do. We'll let you know if otherwise, if it's not a free. Help, though, is a great resource for you. We're constantly doing updates to this. This is what Jess is really helping me because she's newer to SAM, like a lot of our users are. She's got a great eye for, does this actually make sense? Do I know what to do? And so we're having her go through really the guides that we're talking about really frequently. Some of the things I want to draw your attention to is the get started. There's a tour of SAM. So all new users can really go in here and access this. We've also got this SAM implementation success guides, which this is here to allow SAM admins to have an idea of how to think about process, kind of get an overview of what's the general case workflow in SAM, how to think about forms as compared to when you need a template, as compared to when you need an auto action, how those things work together. So definitely take time to look through that. These 2 guides. Over here as well, that's new, is the webinars. So all of our webinars are linked here. Just like, this is on all the topics. So if you want information about basics or you want to look at more family portal, you can click in here. And there are plenty of webinars that are, 30 minutes to an hour in length that we're talking about so that you can review these as you have availability. Let's see. The other thing is utilize, our search function here and say, I don't know, I'll put in form. It's going to give you lots of articles, but you can go in here. You're going to create new forms. You click in instructions. You might then look at the other types of articles that are within this section. Starting at the top, we're really trying to organize these guides in a way that help you get an overview of what's going on, so you have the terminology and what you need to know first, sort of at the top. So and then more detailed information at the bottom. Okay, is how we're organizing these sections. Let's see other things here. Again, you contact support, which is clicking this link here. There's also a YouTube page. We would absolutely love for you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because as we create new videos, they're all getting posted up there. All the webinars are posted up here, as well as different videos that we're creating, not that are client specific, that we are sort of sending in our support guide, our support conversations, but for example, I built a video the other day about, what was it about? The application form, taking each part, putting it into a full form, adding sidebar links to it. So how to do that setup, that you can watch and rewatch as much as you need to. Okay. So those are there. Please subscribe. We would love to have some connection with you guys. And then the last thing that I'll talk about today, because I know we're certainly over time, but there's so much to talk about Family Portal, is community calls. So these are going to be happening the week after the webinar. Webinars generally the first or second week of the month. They are posted on our website under InReach Solutions /events. And then the community calls are there as well. Community calls, open forum for you to ask questions, potentially about what we talked about the week before in the webinar, or bring your questions. It's nice to sort of have a community of other folks, and what are they doing? How are they setting it up, just to get ideas. And that's it. That's what I have for you today, sort of an intro into the Family Portal. So I appreciate you all joining. Remember, again, that community call for next week is July 22nd, 10 a.m. On that call, we'll introduce some of the next things that we're thinking about doing through the rest of the summer, or potentially the rest of 2020, while we're all home and everybody's working from home and really connecting online with these with families or clients to get these portals up and running for you guys. I'll open it up for a few minutes. If you've got the next 5 or so minutes, if you guys want to ask any questions, you can maybe raise your hands. Wave at me. I can only see some folks here. Some folks here. I guess I got everybody. You can also put it in a chat. We'll be using today's link for next week's call. Yes. So Brittany, we're really using the exact same link all the time. If you want to save it, please do so. Jess Daniels, let's think about a spot to put that for clients so that they always have access to it. Yep, there is a client portal, which maybe we want to reintroduce for folks. We use that as well. The community calls are generally not recorded. We can consider that, I guess, with folks who are on. But not the Family Portal. Do we need to update? Oh, so, some links, what Choice is talking about is there's some form in their site called Family Hub. I think it is, let me go and look here in my master site. None of these are all the client sites. Let me escape from here. Let me actually open up, log into this real quick, because I would bet, no, I don't think you need to update the system. I bet that it is a public form set as a view form. Let me check out what I think you might have. Let's see, Hub. I think it will be the same thing. So there's the foster family hub maybe. And Kyle, you can really write us individually through support and send me a link to what you have. But inside the system, the Sam will tell you what type of form it is right at the very top. So it's a public view only form. If it's called the Family Hub, that will work for you as the Family Portal. It very well may not be set up the same way. What you'll want to, and what I mean by set up the same way is it may not have that template and the sidebar enabled and those types of things that are enabled in this, I think what's called the Client Portal or the Family Portal. Let me just see really quick what it's called. Under the adoption side, it should be called Family Portal. Under the adoption side, which choice I believe that you should have. Let's see. Let me see. I'll go through that question for you, Heather, again. Let me see. What is the other thing that I wanted to say on this? Family Portal. I'm going to click here. You can see it's just going to be base. Same thing. Public view only form, and then you're it's very open-ended for what do you want to include, what do you want to be shown on the sidebar, do you want a sidebar, do you not, like how you want that set up. It's absolutely also possible to just give families public forms. Okay, so you can do that through templates. You can do that through your website. You don't have to have a SAM Family Portal. Oh, I don't want to go through here. I want to go through the public form links. I'm going to look through all the forms because there's tons. You can also just take families right to the case checklist, which everybody should have a case checklist. There's no reason though that you have to have an entire family portal all set up. Yeah, so this is where I just want you guys to sort of pull out and away from Sam and say what makes sense. These webinars will be to sort of introduce you to what people are doing. And talk about it, but then take it back to your team and decide what do we want and what do we want to share with families. And then you can certainly work with me or we are considering sort of a weekly call to set up things and do that together. Let me answer Heather's question. She said, the client cannot retrieve a document they upload through a checklist. Yes. And she's saying, can they replace it if needed? And they can. Yes. So what she's talking about is here, although the family can upload this document, right? And this is an uploaded document. They can't actually ever pull it back down. So some people want them to do that, but the way that permissions are organized right now, they basically have to have a SAM user access. Oh. Hold on. Did I mute my own self? Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, cool. So the family can re-upload on top of this. So what they would do is like click this again, and then they'll jump in here and upload new or replace. When they replace this document, let me stick in something. Go to Sam, their desktop demo, and stick in something. Okay, let's put this image in here. When they upload it internally, who is this? This is the Williams family. Sam is saving the, Sam will display, I think, let's look at it, the current document in the checklist. Gosh, which one? That was the signed contract. So this, ooh, that's interesting. Unless it's in the other, let me look here real quick. That's case 2. This is, let me go to case 2 and make sure that I'm there. Case 2, case checklist here, signed contract. There's the rake, girl with the rake right here. So it now saves that new document, a link to the checklist. All of these documents though, if you guys remember, or if you don't and you need to know, go into the document section, at least by default. So where it says signed contract, when I open this up here, That's here. Let's see. Signed contract. I'm betting it's this one. Let's see if I upload this. That's the original. This is going to be here. There's our rake. Okay. So what's interesting is Sam is not updating this again, but it does update the actual document. If you go in here to this document, the details of this document, and you look at modification history, look at this modification history. Sam is going to store the old value, which will be whatever apparently was this image. And the new value is that rake. Okay. So that's how you as a team can see documents that have been uploaded on top of other documents, is through the modification history. This isn't really a conversation about modification history, but because I'm here, that was one way. I was very specific to this document. But through the cover page, advanced options, you can look at all family modifications and it'll show you the same thing. So that happens to be right here because that happened to be my latest. You could also, you'll have tons of things down for modifications in the future. So I can filter on family documents and see everything that's been uploaded. So where there is an old value is obviously where things were, where things were modified. If it's empty in the old value, it's a brand new record, is what that's really telling you. If there's some kind of value, it's been updated in some way. Let's see. Anybody have anything else? There's so much to do to talk about here. It could just sort of keep doing it all day, but I want to respect your time and move my kid on off the internet, to be quite honest. It's like move him from where he's sitting. Cool. Well, if there's nothing else today, again, let me just reiterate, contact us through support, get help here, schedule a time to call, join our webinar next week, our community call cool. Thanks, Brittany. Which you can always find under About Events. Pretty sure we've got emails coming out to remind you about those too. Jess, do you know that that's true? Cool. Awesome. Thank you. And so, yeah, and we're going to be changing sort of how we're accessing the emails. We're actually hoping to get, there's Megan, and we'll get Megan on there too. We're actually sort of changing our process of how we get it. We're going to actually pull it from users who are logged in, who have full admin access. Anybody who's got full admin access would be getting these emails in the future so that they can join. And then you're certainly welcome to share the news. If you subscribe to us through YouTube, you subscribe or like us on Facebook or any of those kind of things, you'll get notifications. LinkedIn and Facebook, I think, are the two social media outlets that also have that information. Cool. Well, thanks, you guys. Big call again, because so many people are joining this and we really want to make sure that you have all the tools and you know how to do this. We're really planning on a program to sort of work together in setting them up and where everybody's working together on it. So we'll have more details for you on that as we pull that together and roll that program out. Otherwise, have a wonderful summer day. And we will talk to you hopefully next week. If not, the next webinar is down here that you can see. And we're going to just like continue on with Family Portal and all the other things that you can do. Excellent. All right. Bye, Megan, Brittany. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful day. Steve, see you later. Oh, you're moved. See ya. Bye, Karen. Take it easy. Bye, guys.